Hey guys, I've got a brand new battle for you today, an Uber's battle. And that chirping was my lovebird Storm. He is chirping at me because he is mad because I'm not paying any attention to him. A little love sponge. So if you hear anything weird in the background, that's him. Moving on, I had this battle with Antar1011 and I'm subscriber 2. I am pretty new to the Ubers tier. This is my first Uber battle I've done on my actual game cartridge, even though I've done a few on Pokemon Online. I have had mixed results, well, in Pokemon Online, so after a little trial and error, I finally came up with this rather unique dual weather team. These are all Uber Pokemon, all the Pokemon in this team are banned from standard play, so you will only see me use them in Uber's battles. Antar is using a different Uber's team than what I've seen her use, so I wasn't sure what to lead off with at first. But after looking at the team preview, I decided to lead off with my Scarf Dialga. Antar led off with a Zekrom nicknamed Brennan. I wasn't sure what to expect from the Zekrom. If it was running any set besides a Scarf, I would be fine, but if it was running Scarf, he would win because my Dialga does not have a max speed IV. So I just went ahead for the Draco Meteor, and it turns out he is not a Scarf Zekrom. So I was able to easily one-shot him. Antar said that he was not expecting my Dialga to be Scarfed. He's expecting a Stealth Rock lead Dialga, which is understandable. Many Dialga do have Stealth Rock, thanks to its great defenses. So he switches to Deliani, a Fortress, and I call back my Dialga and send in my Ho-Oh Phoenix because I am figuring this Fortress will want to set up rocks. And I do not want to have Phoenix switch into rocks. He will not like it at all. And I predicted correctly there. So I decided to use my Flame Charge, which I really haven't seen on Ho-Ohs, despite being a pretty good user of Flame Charge. I guess it's because you have to forsake Earthquake or something like that. So I know it will survive due to Sturdy, and it was a crit, which I knew was pointless because of Sturdy. And I do get the speed raise from Flame Charge, but it turns out that the Fortress is holding a red card, which is like, wow, that threw me for a loop. So it forces out my grass form Arceus Forest. Unfortunately, yes, I cheated to get some of these Pokemon, unfortunately, but I do not do it for any Pokemon that are not legendaries. I have forgotten about the Arceus that was given away on GTS, and so I get to use an action replay to get this Arceus. Anyway, I KO'd the Fortress with Grass Knot, not wanting to reveal I have Ice Beam yet. And he sends in a Rayquaza. And I was predicting a switch here. That's why I used Thunder Wave instead of Ice Beam. Man, I gotta stop doing that. I end up paralyzing this Arceus, which is a fighting formed Arceus. I had to look it up because I couldn't really tell from the color. That could have been, if it was ground, it wouldn't have been ground. I was wondering if it was rock. So I send in my Groudon because I'm not sure what to expect. And yeah, my Groudon's Drought brings out the sun. And this Arceus is using Calm Mind. I'm like, oh boy, this isn't good. And yeah, the stats get raised, and my Groudon is a bulky, physically defensive Groudon, so he munches on his leftovers. And Arceus uses Judgment. Anyway, wondering why Arceus went first? I used Roar. I probably should have set up my rocks, or I should have used Earthquake, but I went for Roar because that Calm Mind was really concerning me. My Groudon hangs on with just 6 HP. I picked Roar over Dragon Tail because on Pokemon Online, my Dragon Tail was always missed when I really needed it to hit. I have such bad luck with accuracy. So it drags out his Skyform Shaman. Skyform Shaman. My Groudon faints from the Air Slash. And I send out my Dialga because I do not really know what this Shaman is running. As I know, unless it's also Scarfed, it can outrun this Shaman. The Shaman switches out while I try to go for the Ice Beam. I would be running Dragon Pulse because I forgot that Dragon Pulse is a 4th gen only TM, and I cheated to get this Dialga in 5th gen with an action replay. Forgive me. So locked in the Ice Beam, I'm doing nothing to that Arceus. And none of my Pokemon are going to want to take a judgment. I mean, the best one would be Ho-Oh, but he would get slandered by those Stealth Rocks. So I picked my Kyogre Poseidon instead because it does have great special defense and maximum HP. So in comes the judgment. And I'm pretty confident Kyogre can take it, but I'm a little bit worried. But Kyogre does probably 1/3 to Kyogre based on that. So I use a Calm Mind because unless he crits, I'm confident I can take one more judgment. And based on how much Ice Beam did, I'm probably going to need it in order to KO this Arceus. So in comes the judgment, and Poseidon hangs on, barely. And I decide to go for the Surf here, because not wanting to get greedy. Because I'm hoping that with the boost from the Drizzle, I can KO it, and indeed I do. So I was pretty happy there. But I know that at its current HP, Kyogre can be pretty easily revenge killed. And indeed, he sends in Wash the Sky Form Shaman, and no one's going to want to take a Seed Flare on my team. So I have Kyogre take it. And it goes down. I mean, granted, Ho-Oh would resist it, but I wouldn't want the special defense drop. And again, the Stealth Rocks are still in play. So again, I send in my Dialga to try to take out this thing. And boy, all this pressure stuff. It sometimes gets a little bit annoying that it always shows up. It's exerting its pressure. But here I made a great prediction because the other two Pokemon were either Kyogre or Rayquaza, and I figured he would switch to Kyogre, predicting either Ice Beam or Draco Meteor. So that was great for me, because I know and seeing that the lefties, I know I can outrun this Kyogre. And even if it wasn't Scarfed, even if it was Scarfed, I'd be able to take anything it threw at me, because Dialga is really bulky. So one more Thunder takes out the Kyogre. So I was pretty proud of my prediction there. The only one I would have to worry about is if Rayquaza was sent in and its Airlock made Thunder miss. Then comes Shaman and it outruns me. And I was a little shocked there. Although I wasn't thinking that. I didn't realize this is a Scarfed Shaman. I didn't realize that at the time, even though I should have. So I send in my Grass Form Arceus, hoping I can take whatever, thinking that the Shaman throws at me. And I decide I want to cripple it with my Thunder Wave. But it turns out he switched to Rayquaza instead. And of course, the Airlock comes into play. And there comes the Thunder Wave, paralyzing and crippling Rayquaza, which is good. And Antar did not because I didn't use Ice Beam until now. Antar made the mistake of assuming that I did not run Ice Beam on my Arceus. But I need that Ice Beam for so many all the dragons. I do get a crit on the Rayquaza. I do not think that mattered. I was glad there was no Focus Sash, but it turned as though that was a banded Rayquaza. So in comes the Shaman. So I'm like, please live, please live, please live. I'm biting my lip. And it hangs on with just 24 HP, so I was praying that it wouldn't flinch. And I do manage to pull off the Ice Beam, which I probably should have done in the first place. And I take out the Shaman, and that's the battle. And it turns out that I would have still had a pretty good chance with my Excadrill against that Gaiman because it was locked in the Air Slash, but it was still a good battle. So remember guys, you can comment, rate, subscribe, and challenge, and check out Antar too.